Wake up, real estate. Good morning. Texting Tuesday, February 20th. No show yesterday for those of you that were trying to tune in. Ryan and I, we forget holidays and so forth.
I just really like presidents.
Oh,
I was busy celebrating the presidents.
exactly. Just
all of them.
Digging it all in. I was running kiddos this way and that. My one daughter had 4 basketball games this weekend, and the other daughter had 3 basketball games and 5 field hockey games. So what? Anyway, so it's Texting Tuesday. We're going to share an email script that you could repurpose as a text as well, and you should probably. Ryan's got a social post, and we might talk a little traffic. We're going to ease our way into a short week this week, and maybe keep it short and sweet so everybody can get to it. Mike, good morning, and Charla, good day to you as well. Ryan, what do you have here?
I just went with a property list. Very simple social post idea. We talk about it all the time. I don't think I've done one actually in a couple of weeks. So property list of the day: old homes built before a certain date threshold. So old St. Pete homes built before 1920. Just took a screenshot of some of the listings, and nice and clean and simple. So again, just use your IDX feed on your website, filter, sort, do whatever, or just grab an old homes list today and post it. So very easy.
It's interesting because this isn't necessarily, I would say, generally speaking, more motivated or ready, willing, and able buyers might not be interested in old homes.
Yeah.
But the ones that are, and there are always some that want, an old home with some charm and character, that may be the thing that encourages them to work with you. Just the fact that you pointed that out, you curated that information for them, right? So whether it's old homes or,
New homes.
I'm in a more rural area, so like farmettes. I mean, there are so many ways that you can curate lists and have an endless amount of content, the type of content that Ryan refers to as real estate porn, right? Everybody loves looking at real estate, and so if you curate different stuff.
Yeah, this is one of those niches that lends itself to that nicely. I don't know. I think more sophisticated people, the people who read Architectural Digest, stuff like that, might gravitate toward old homes. So it could be more of a money niche. I don't know, that a first-time buyer niche might be. So
could be.
It's interesting as a niche, and of course it's going to have lots of great content because old homes are cool to mess with and play with and to look at.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Let's dig into the script for today. I don't think I've shared this on the show. This one. It is something I've shared in the past, and it's not one that I came up with. I don't even know who to attribute this to, but I was reminded of it from a podcast last week, and I was like, oh, you know what? We haven't talked about this one in a while. And we'll get it added to the Wake Up site, wakeup.realestate. You should go create your free account. We'll add it to the scripts and templates. It is specifically designed to get the homeowners in your database to raise their hand and engage with you. And here goes. Subject line. You could do just curious. You could do first name question mark. Or you could even say fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. Okay. The content is simply this. You ask them to answer the following. Okay. And so you could lead in with something like this. Genuinely curious. ... Answer this question for me. If I could sell my home for blank, I'd move. Okay. If I could sell my home for blank, I'd move. Let me know. Right? So we'll fill in the blank. Fill in the blank. You will certainly get some unrealistic answers. You will get people that throw out numbers that just aren't realistic, and that's fine. But you will also get, or will most likely get, folks that are underselling. They don't even realize how much their home is worth. You'll get folks that throw out a number that you go and look it up, and unless the place is fallen down, would be very realistic. So it's just a way to open a conversation with them, and the pivot, once they respond and they're somewhat realistic and there's some motivation, is to simply go for a like a pre-listing appointment. Okay, great. When could I come take a tour to check out the property and and verify the condition and chat about whatever. You could also pivot to asking, that they give you a realistic answer. You could pivot to hey, that sounds more than realistic. Curious, would you be moving, and would you be relocating, or would you be staying here in the area? Right. So just trying to continue that conversation. And you can obviously, you could use this as a text message as well. You could use it as a direct message if you have homeowners in your database, or even with your sphere of influence, and that they own a home. This is a wonderful engagement type of question here. I think I the first time I heard this, some variation of this, I'm going to give credit where credit is due, because it's coming back to me. Michael Mayer is who I remember first hearing this type of script or template from. And he's got a book on referrals, 7-level referrals or something like
Yeah,
that.
I have like
You
8 copies of it for some reason.
Yeah, I have it back here somewhere as well.
I keep finding it at 7 levels of communication or something like that, or I keep finding it at thrift shops. I think it's funny to buy it every time. Here it is.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Yep.
The 7 levels of communication, Michael J. Mayer. So we have several. Look at that. There's the pyramid. We have several variations of this, and like I said, we will compile that and put them into a doc like we do every week, and you can get the script and variations at wakeup.realestate under scripts and templates. Now, Ryan, just off the cuff here, how might we position this or use something similar on the buy side?
Fill in the blank. The one thing stopping me from buying a house right now is, I don't know, something like that.
So fill in the blank. The one thing stopping me from buying, you could even say buying my dream home right now. You can play with that. You could also the one thing stopping me from buying an investment property right now.
That's where I was going. My first investment. What's interesting about saying my first investment property is they might say, "Well, I already own one."
Yeah, and that's fine. Well, what's the one thing stopping you from buying your next one? Right. So you can pivot it that way, and that's a beautiful variation of one of our best performing scripts ever. And in fact, on last week's mastermind, I think it was last week, I was grilling Mike on sharing our top 3 to 5 most successful scripts, or the scripts that have created the most amount of conversations and appointments. And the what's the one thing is in that is on the the Mount Rushmore of those scripts. There's the Dean Jackson 9-word email. There's the what's stopping you right now, quick chat, and many variations thereof. And I forget, there was one or two others. But this is a great way to get people engaging, right? Fill in the blank. The one thing stopping me from buying my dream home right now is, and you can, just leave it at that. Or, you might even frame it, fill in the blank, colon, the one thing stopping me from buying my dream home right now is, and then question mark. And in fact, Mike, let's try that this week with mine. Let's try that on the buy side. And I'm going to schedule the email to all of the homeowners that we have in our database as well. And one additional thing that you might do with the seller version, Ryan, if you want to scroll back up, you might want to add, if I could sell my home at, street address for blank, I'd move. Just because it makes, the email send more unique and more, congruent to the person. Not, not critical per se, but if you can, I think the more you can, match that to folks, the better, which is, sometimes this just works out very serendipitously. Speaking of merge fields, Ryan, why don't you let everybody know about the recent upgrade to thanks.io, where you can merge more,
okay. Yeah, we can do that.
more custom fields in to make your direct mail pieces more engaging.
Yeah, this actually comes up a fair amount if you are using Thanks and you're importing data or zapping data in, and you just want to have more attributes about the recipient in the copy of your mail. We've added a couple more fields for that. So it used to be 1 and 2. So now you can do 3 and 4 as well. You can see on the right side, I'm kind of clicking these tags and they're inserting right into here. So,
what would be, Ryan, in your experience and seeing, users across many different industries, how are people using those, or what might people use those custom fields for?
In real estate, it'll have to do with the property in particular. So absentees in particular. So you have the owner's address is separate from the recipient's address. They live out of state, so you want to reference the address. You might want to reference more than just the address. You might want to reference the number of bedrooms or the number of units the property has, right? I have a buyer looking for a X unit property in city, right? Those would be merge tags. In retail, this comes up a lot just because of product SKUs and things like that. People want to reference, you might also want to reference the URL they were on your site, all kinds of stuff. So
let me I want to get very specific here and reiterate the one example because this is a niche that we talk about a lot, and we've got a boot camp on and a free class around absentee owners. So let's say I want to send a direct mail piece to an absentee owner. For me to get the mail delivered to the owner, I've got to put the mailing address, which may be in the same area. It may be out of the county. It may be out of state. But I still want to, I want to make it clear and congruent to that absentee owner. So though I'm getting it delivered to, the homeowner that lives in New Jersey or New York, I want to reference and ask the question, would you consider selling your investment property at street address to one of our clients this spring, let's say, right? So that is a way that you can still make it congruent. And also with Thanks, if you use the dynamic image builder, you can have the card populate the street or the map view of the absentee owned property on the dynamic front of the card as well. So this is a great, it's a great way that you can send something to an absentee owner that is, it's a pattern interrupt. It is, extremely likely that you'll at least be able to get their attention long enough for them to read the copy and potentially engage, maybe scan, or even just directly call or text you. And Ryan, I can't make out the copy here. What are we?
Oh, is it too small? I was trying to. I use the AI to just say I'd like to communicate to an absentee homeowner who lives out of town that I might have a buyer for their property. So I let the AI write it, and now I'm merging in tags. Address 1, custom 1 would be the city of the property, right? Because you could send, you could get a whole list of everything in your county, and then upload a list of the subdivision, the city, the property, from who's looking, and we could do something like this for a. And then we could use custom 2 bedroom home, right?
Mm-hmm.
That property has 3 bed. When you upload it, it has 2 bedrooms. You get your list from wherever. So just to give it like a live example of how this might look in practice. The AI, Josh, I forget to use it, but it really does help with the copy. You got to change what it says a lot of times, but it really gives you a good framework.
Well, at least you're not starting from zero, right? Like you don't have to start a blank sheet of paper when you're trying to create something or write something, generate copy, etc. That the blank sheet is so intimidating. So not having to start from zero, and also being able to regenerate, right? You can take and tweak and adapt it. You can even take what's generated there, you could pop it into GPT and get another variation as well, right? So there's so many our job is, as far as that goes, is easier than ever. It's a matter of then tweaking it, right, to match your vernacular, right, and your personality and so forth. So
Josh, they are in here as well in the dynamic builder, so you can merge 3 and 4 into the URLs even and have dynamic page personalization.
Wow. Yeah,
you and I are geeking out.
Cool implications.
I'll be honest, there's not a ton of situations where you absolutely need this, but if it comes up, you'll be happy it's there. So
well, and the use case, the absentee owner use case alone, which I know maybe isn't as important that there's now 4 custom fields, but just the fact that that's there, a lot of people may not be aware of that. And for many reasons, absentee owners are a great niche to be working to generate listings. They don't have to buy a property to sell the absentee owned property, right? Because that is still very much a legitimate legitimate objection when you're talking with homeowners, right? Whether they're trying to trade up or trade down between rates, inventory, etc. It's just hard to get people to budge right now. And so that audience, where not only that, the level of motivation can change daily, right?
Yeah.
They weren't motivated today, and something happened this afternoon that turned them into a motivated seller, right? The tenant, did something. There was a storm and the roof's leaking. I mean, there's any number of things that can change that motivation on a drop of the dime.
The big one right now that you might want to message around is Airbnb. And I don't know if you can find a list of homes that specifically were Airbnb, but you could just take a stab in the dark, send to all the absentee owners, and just say, if you're having trouble finding short-term rentals, like in Florida here, a lot of absentees are Airbnbs. So if you've been having trouble,
that's what I was going to say. Like you may know that you're in a market where that's a high percentage, and you can just take a stab at the messaging to them, even if it means that not everyone that sees that message, some of them may have a long-term renter in that, and that's okay, because if they're motivated, they're still going to respond. But I love that idea. My market is definitely not a lot of short-term rentals, but you may be in a market where there is, and who knows, that may be a great way to build a pipeline.
You know what I love about GPT? I just did this live. I don't know if people are watching what I typed, but I just did a stream of consciousness for my prompt, and I just love that it understands it. It's like a run-on sentence. It doesn't mean anything. I'm just adding what comes to mind. And this isn't bad. I would never say, I hope this message finds you well. So I need to
Right.
some of that. But, I wanted to reach out to discuss potential opportunity that might be interesting regarding your Airbnb property. And then you could do like Airbnb and property at, and then merge in the address there, and it just make it sound like you and you're good to go. So.
Yeah, if you're anything like me, I find it way easier to take a message and put it into my words than to create the message from scratch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like once there's an effective communication, just tweaking it to the way that you speak and the way that I do it, this is not rocket science at all, is I just read a sentence out loud and I say, I try to find, how would I actually speak that sentence and just tweak accordingly or edit accordingly. So,
can we find an Airbnb mailing list? I don't think
I don't know. I don't know that you can. It's a good question. If anybody has any ideas on that, how you might find a list, of specifically short-term rentals, VRBO, Airbnb, kind of rentals, that would be interesting and valuable for sure.
Yeah, this site claims to. You got to be careful with list brokers. I would, if you're in an area with a lot of them, I would just take the approach, just like you would with a Facebook ad where you're attracting with the copy. I would just take the approach and assume that everybody's doing Airbnb, even if they're not, and you'll find the ones that are. This isn't an absentee situation.
Right. And because the people that are motivated, I know I said this already, so I don't mean to be redundant, but if they're motivated, it doesn't matter. They're going to say, hey, I've got this rental. It's not an Airbnb, but, do you have somebody that might be interested? Right.
Yeah.
So, it's not going to preclude people from replying. All right. Some housekeeping items for the week. Tomorrow, we have, our What's Working Now show. Can you get with Ernest? I wonder if Ernest might come on. We were talking about some cool stuff with him. And we have our mastermind in the afternoon, 1 Eastern, wakeup.realestate/MM. Oh, look at this. Yes.
I might talk about this a little bit tomorrow because I've been mapping out the niche operating system into a Miro template. Miro is like a planning app. So we'll talk about that tomorrow.
I'm sorry I didn't respond to you yesterday.
Oh, that's all right.
I did check it out. I even downloaded their app, and then then one thing led to another. I was watching field hockey games and I forgot. But we'll dig into that. And then I have a special guest lined up for next Wednesday for the show and for the mastermind around Google local services ads. I've been working on it for weeks, and I finally have a great guest. I've listened to him on a couple of different other podcasts, and he's extremely knowledgeable. And I think people will love to hear from. So that'll be next Wednesday, both for the show, and then we'll do a deeper dive with him on the mastermind in the afternoon. And then on Thursday, we've been doing our mortgage info sessions on Tuesdays, but just for a couple of different reasons and conflicts. Last week we did Thursday, and this week we'll be doing a Thursday session as well.
I think you and I are the only ones who care about the themes of the days, but that's true, all right.
But I don't know. We got to have something for us to keep us on point on some level. Yeah. So let's make it a great week. If you have questions, if you need anything, if there's anything we can do for you, go to wakeup.realestate, use the chat widget bottom right. We'll get the scripts and templates mentioned into the members area under scripts and templates.
Get the book. It is actually good.
It is very good.
Yeah. And the trail mix. Get the trail mix.
And the trail mix. Yeah. Be sure to grab the trail mix.
Right.
Support those that support the show. They don't actually support the show. I wish they did. Anyway, back tomorrow. What's Working Wednesday. And let's all get to it and see you tomorrow.